Welcome back to Orange Hat Reviews, everyone. Hope you're all having a wonderful night. This is not going to be an easy night for me because, well, I have to defend the idiot in this fight. So, we're going to be discussing Episode 7 versus stream of Rey Palpatine versus Vaylin from Star Wars The Old Republic game. We did Emperors 2 weeks ago. We're doing Emperor's Daughters now. And before we get into it, we're going to introduce the panel. One is still missing, but hopefully she will join because I hate to have to defend this Palpatine thing alone. So with that going, I'm going to introduce my co-host first. Y'all know him. He's been on my streams a lot. You know him. You love him. It's the Ambassador, folks. And that was awkward. Okay, there we go.
Let's try this again. Good evening, everyone, and welcome. I am very happy to be here with my friend once again, Orange Hat Reviews, and we're going to be doing this versus stream between the two Daughters of the Emperors, and I'm expecting a bloodbath, and I am very happy for that. So, just a quick plug on my channel. For those of you who don't know, I cover pop culture of the 80s and 90s into the modern era. I do live streams. I do record videos. I am eventually, I promise, I know I've been saying this, I am going to get into doing some gaming streams. So, and I enjoy my time here on Orange Hat's channel, and he's an awesome guy, and I'm looking forward to working with this panel and everything. Some that I've worked with before, a couple or one or two that I have not. So with that all being said, I yield the floor to our gracious host.
Thank you. And it's also good to have you here, buddy. Our next one, unfortunately, she couldn't make it to the Emperor's showdown, but she's feeling better now. So everybody, I consider this woman the lore queen of Legends. So give it up for OG Star Wars.
Hi, everyone, and thank you again for having me here. And I'm excited to do this little duel debate. And may the best dark side Emperor, Daughter of Emperor wins. Dun, dun, dun. So thank you again for having me on. And you can find me on my channel, OG Star Wars, and on Twitter with the same name as well. And I do specialize in George Lucas era of Star Wars EU novels, and moving on to comics and games as well as part of that. There's so much to talk about and discuss, so thank you for having me here, Orange Hat.
Very welcome. And our next one, he has come on a couple times before. Give it up for Annihilus.
Hello.
Annihilus.
And okay, good.
Hello. Yes. I am a gamer and a proud member of this panel. I do gaming streams on my channel, same as my name here, same handle on Twitter. I am currently playing through the Mass Effect trilogy, although that is on hiatus right now for various reasons that I do not want to get into right now, but tomorrow I shall be streaming something else very special indeed.
Alrighty. And our last but not least, at least until our kitty gets in here, we got another great YouTuber, Mara Jade from Jade Shadow.
Hello, good evening, everyone. I am, my YouTube channel is Jade Shadow, within parentheses, and I cover mainly pop culture. I do talk some Star Wars occasionally, but generally dealing with the EU, OT, and PT, but segued more into DC-related topics recently because I kind of became apathetic to Disney Star Wars and didn't want to talk about it for a while. And also cover social commentary, do live streams. And now that I've upgraded my internet, I'm going to start streaming gaming on Twitch in the near future. So you can see me rage and get wrecked in games.
Very nice.
I'm looking forward to that.
You will see me wreck a lot. I'm playing Witcher 3.
Oh, fun.
Nice.
That's a good way to think about.
Yeah. Now, again, we're expecting Riot Kitty to come in here. So hopefully she'll make it. I think she's caught up on something. Chances are that usually does happen. But we are going to get into this, and we got, dare I say it, the woman that I have to defend. I told you all I would do it, so I'm going to do it. I'm defending Rey Palpatine, and before anybody says that she's the granddaughter of Palpatine, let me set the record straight. She is the daughter. Because, yes, when you clone somebody, they are 100% identical genetically to the host. So if that clone has a kid with somebody, well, their genetics are still going into that kid. So, yeah, the genetics are Palpatine's. So he may not have done the nasty with Rey's mom, but he certainly is the donor.
I will never get that image out of my head right now. Thank you.
That's nasty. That is nasty.
Okay, I'm going to say this. It's going to be really off color.
Oh,
Do it.
God.
Do it to me, baby. Do it, darling.
That takes the only phrase of do it.
Do it to me, baby.
I'm
All
Who's your
calm down, buddy.
Palpatine?
I'm
Who's your
never cutting my eyes again.
Now,
I think I'm done.
a brief intro to the characters. Everybody freaking knows Rey. She's the new golden child of the Disney trilogy. She basically can just touch you and learn everything there is to know about you. So she's got psychometry on her belt. Well, a souped-up version of it. And she also can basically lift rocks without even trying.
Yeah.
Yes, we get it. We get it,
What
Ambassador.
were you doing with your finger?
I don't want to know.
No, that was just so wrong. But anyway,
I looked up at the wrong time.
she manages to kill her own father, so she's a patricidal maniac. But she's also a Mary Sue, which we already know. Now, believe me, folks, I'm defending her. That doesn't mean I'm on her side. Now, we also have Vaylin, who is another daughter of the Emperor, Vitiate, or in this case, Valkorion in his last iteration.
Mhm.
This woman is so powerful. She was moving things while she was in her mother's womb.
Yes.
Whoa.
Yeah.
He was the only one that Valkorion, well, not the only one, but like of his children, the one he feared the most.
Exactly.
Feared and favored.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And let's just say, folks, that even as a kid, because if you have seen the cinematics of
Oh, yeah.
the Eternal Throne games, this girl, as a child, had her force talents suppressed,
Yes.
but every now and then they would they would break through. And she was trying to do the little thing that her brother did in the training arenas, and out of frustration, she does a scream, which destroys like a couple things around her in like a, what is it, like 4 or 5 meter radius.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she pretty much picks up a bunch of armored soldiers or guards or whatever, and pretty much crushes them in their suits.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah,
comes close to
that was
killing
in the
them.
arena.
Yeah,
And she wasn't just crushing them; she was crushing things at an atomic level.
Mhm.
Because if
Exactly.
you look at that cinematic, the wooden staff was
Mhm.
splintering at the splinter level.
Mhm.
And then like his armor was
To
getting
give you
crushed.
an idea of how her power is.
Yeah,
I
her
think it's because
Go ahead.
because her abilities were being actively suppressed that when they broke through, they were amplified.
Yeah. And I was going to also add this is that her force ability was so strong that she really didn't have a proficient lightsaber combat established because she was so strong in the force.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
when it comes to characters like this, they're consulars basically. If you want to get into classes and whatnot. She's basically a very souped-up consular. Now, does that mean that Vaylin is a Mary Sue? No.
No.
In fact,
No.
she is fallible. She has flaws. And she had a weakness until she got through it, which was her father conditioned her for kneel before the dragon of Zakul.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
There is one thing I still don't quite get about her, because in the trailer, when we see her as a kid, her hair is blonde, then she gets taken away, and then suddenly, like, apparently they shave her head for some reason, and then she comes back and suddenly she has brown hair.
Yeah,
What? I'm guessing she was always a brunette, because if you look closely at the cinematic, you could tell that she has darker roots.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing, and this is speaking to my own family's genetics and everything. When my mother and both my grandmother were born, they were both born with white hair or blonde hair, and as they got older, their hair changed. So that there is a precedent for that sort of thing happening. So that's a minor thing, but there is such a thing can happen in real life.
As long as it doesn't turn like from blonde to pink or something like that, then
well, that definitely can happen, because my brother had when he was younger had a kind of like a strawberry blondish color to his hair, and then as he got older, it became dark brown.
Yeah. So there's also that potential thing too.
And then I just want to say one other cool thing about Valen before we move on. My most remembered line from her is when you're escaping Zakul in Fallen Empire, I think Chapter 3 of Fallen Empire. She draws her lightsaber. Your character draws his or her lightsaber. Then she kind of looks at it for a minute and then just puts it away like, no, I won't be needing that.
Yeah.
I was like, oh shit, she's going to pull some really sick force powers.
Yeah.
And then my second thought was, okay, this is Avatar: The Last Airbender now. Her brother is Zuko. Arkin is Zuko. Valen is Azula.
Wow. That's
pretty much.
And Valkorion is Father Lord is Fire Lord Ozai.
Wow, that's not a bad parallel, Annihilus. Well done.
Exactly. Nice.
Yeah. Now, also a small or a small measure of kind of how to scale Valen's power. If you have played the game, Old Republic, Lana Beniko, who is introduced, I believe, in the Revan Reborn extensions.
Yep.
She actually comes and rescues you, and she has to open a door. And it takes some real effort for her to use the Force to open this door so that you guys could squeeze through, because the door's also closing at the time too. Well, Vaylin, she's like, rips that damn door completely off the or out of her way. It's like, yeah,
fuck your door.
Boom. It's like, yeah, open sesame, bitch. I'm coming through.
Yeah.
Here's Johnny.
When it comes to Vaylin,
here's Vaylin.
God. That's actually terrifying.
That's scarier than Jack Nicholson with an axe.
Now, to give a little bit of a good, or well, not good at all, but a scale of Rey's power, Luke, and God damn it, I hate doing this. Luke was training with Yoda on Dagobah, and he was learning how to lift rocks, basically.
Yeah.
Well, this super bitch can look at a bunch of rocks and just like lifting rocks, and then lifts her hands up, and oh my gosh, freaking boulders galore all around. Now, I've read the Book of the Jedi.
Kill me.
I've read the Book of the Jedi where they actually have those 6 stones. Where Yoda himself trained, and even he, after a certain age, couldn't lift all 6.
Yes.
This super bitch can lift like 50 or 60 of them. So, yeah.
Well,
they're adored.
Which one is the Book of the Jedi?
The Force is just about lifting rock.
Yeah, exactly. Now, which one is the Book of the Jedi, Annihilus?
I have Jedi Path.
Jedi Path and the Book of the
Jedi Path.
Yeah.
Book of the Sith, and then there's there's like I think 2 others. The
There's
Bounty
a
Hunter.
Bounty Hunter.
Handbook and the Bounty Hunter Code. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have the Bounty Hunter's Code, Book of the Sith, and Jedi Path. My brother has the Imperial Handbook.
Oh yeah, I don't have the
I
Imperial.
have all of
Handbook
them
yet.
right next to each other right now.
Mm-hmm.
I have
I
Jedi
have-
Path and Book of Sith.
I got that as a anniversary gift.
I got the
Nice.
Imperial Handbook for my brother because he's sort of half joking that he aspires to be a Grand Moff one day when the Empire takes over the galaxy. So here you go. Here's the
Grand
Imperial
Moff, be a
Handbook.
Grand
Okay,
Admiral.
folks,
I'm
hold
on.
on. We got our final panelist in here.
Yay.
So
Yay.
everybody, y'all know this one. She's coming in on a couple times. Y'all know her. Y'all love her. It's Riot Kitty. Come on, pop up. There you go.
Yeah. Hello. I'm so something came up for a bit.
It's
It's
okay.
all right.
We still love you.
He's okay.
We're still basically doing intros of the characters.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad I
But
didn't miss
yeah,
too much.
Yeah, we're just going or we just did Valen's intro, and we're now doing Super Mary Sue's intros or power scales. Now, as I said before, she can touch things and like learn things. I mean, she barely had that sex scene in Last Jedi where that Roundhead describes it as a sex scene, and it's like
Ugh.
they touch fingers. That's whatever. But anyway, she touches him. She basically learns all of his skills, and it's like, yeah,
Was it because he's half
Right.
naked?
He sent a data file over Force Skype, and she just downloaded it.
And the thing,
exactly.
Your fingers were USB drives.
Connection
no,
lost.
There you go.
No,
Force
her and
internet. It's reconnecting. Please wait.
well, you know
Ray and-
what? I talked about how Luke was trying to find another way to detect Force sensitives, and he tried it on his sister Leia. And this, I think, was Jedi Academy or something like that. And basically, Leia allowed Luke to probe her mind. And when he went back into her primal consciousness and stuff, the Force protected her because she's a Force sensitive, and it pushed her out. She subconsciously pushed him out of there. So when you know about that in the lore, the original lore, and you look at this like reasoning why Rey is downloading this knowledge, it doesn't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
so essentially, Ray
Like,
and Ben
he
had
couldn't-
sex the exact same way the Q do in Star Trek TNG.
Wait,
Oh, gee.
hold up a minute. Let me get this straight.
Yeah.
He couldn't even send her mind probe through the Force.
Mm-mm.
What the
No, he could,
flying-
but she got pushed out.
No, not Luke.
Not Luke.
Emo bitch.
Yeah, emo bitch.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Riot, did you get that photo, by the way?
What photo?
From
I think we're
from
killing
Twitter.
Kosh.
the
I am
You
not.
mean
Gosh.
the tease?
it's the thumbnail teaser for 2 weeks from or 4 weeks from now.
Yep, I saw it. That's interesting.
Yeah,
Orange,
we're killing the ambassador guy.
You're not killing me. I'm laughing.
It's pretty much unanimous. I
Happy
might
Dinosaur
actually have to use
8000.
Yeah,
that
you're
as a
gonna
thumbnail.
die laughing. One of
No,
these
I'm not.
days, you're gonna die laughing.
Happy
All
Orange.
right, now
or
let's get
Happy
back on
Orange.
track
Happy
here.
Orange. Happy Dinosaur
I think
8000.
Adam Driver's
Put up a really good.
Now,
My
also
God.
more power measures from Super Bitch here. She read these little magical books, and all of a sudden she can do what Vader can do when she's facing the Emperor, which is basically bend laser bolts. And I'm like, how dare you? When I first saw it, now we're not going to get too much into critiquing the movie, but this is something that's like, how dare you put that on her, man?
Mm-hmm.
She's not a Skywalker, but yes, she's a Palpatine. Folks, if you call her Skywalker, I will kick you out of my freaking chat. I'm not really going to do that. Everybody is allowed to have different opinions. I mean, that is why I do have this. Let's see if I can get it here.
Rey
Yeah,
Palpatine.
different opinions are welcome, folks. Except for this one, because, god damn it, she is a Palpatine. Anyway.
Yes, she is.
Yep.
Please also subscribe to Facts.
She was not adopted by the Skywalkers. They did not claim her.
And they will
Exactly.
say, well, since they looked out upon her when she was on Tatooine, and she looked back on him, that was like their blessing. But that's not a blessing. There was nothing indicated on film that was given to her.
There was no dialogue saying, "Yeah, go ahead, steal her name."
For all we know, they were just.
Right.
For all we know, they were just there going, "Sup."
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
And where the hell was Ben?
Those hardcore drugs.
Yeah.
I know. It's like Ben became one with the Force, even without consulting the Wills. So it's like, let me in this club. I'm a fucking Skywalker, bitch.
Episodes 7, 8, and 9 are just death stick hallucinations.
Yeah, by Kate Skywalker in the future. He's like, whoa, I just thought, wow, we went on a crazy trip.
Them.
No. See, it was a drunken hallucination after Luke drank the blue milk.
There you go.
But here's the thing: how do you explain Force Awakens?
Well, I actually like Force Awakens.
Yeah,
So
I know some people do, and that's why.
Force Awakens. The Force looks around. The Force goes back to bed.
Yeah.
There you go. The Yoda, that very famous Yoda meme.
Yes,
Force Awakens,
I've seen that meme.
5 more minutes.
Oh,
But,
man.
yeah.
I think you both asking for the plug.
This crap I do not have time for.
Mm-hmm. And now she also, it's like just out of sheer anger, she's going to grab a ship out of the air, and while they're having a little tug of war between her and emo bitch,
can I also just talk? Can we
she
also
suddenly
talk about,
out of her fingers just say what?
Can we? I'll let you finish, but first of all, can we all this is for later? Can we also talk about how she always gives into her anger and and never once gives even the slightest indication of falling to the dark side?
Yeah. I mean, like
Pretty much, yeah.
Luke says,
Also,
Just
because you can use Force Lightning does not mean you're a Palpatine. Force Lightning is not a hereditary Palpatine thing. It's a dark side ability.
well, even
Yeah.
even Luke
Zuko
says
is
in The
now a
Last Jedi-
Palpatine confirmed.
Even Luke says in The Last Jedi that he felt her not even resist.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
you went straight to the dark.
And
I hate that I can quote that movie.
yeah,
Same here.
and
That's
it's
a curse.
Yeah.
That's a curse, by
Like,
the way,
yes.
folks.
You
then
know,
immediately she's back to being good.
I never thought I would
Yeah.
meet a Jedi that I would hate more than Jorah Sabaoth, and then the sequel trilogy happened.
Yep.
Heretic.
What the hell was wrong with Jorah Sabaoth?
He's an asshole.
Heretic.
He was,
I'm
yeah,
not
he
talking
was
about
a
his
Jedi.
clone.
and
I'm talking about the original Jorah Sabaoth from Outbound Flight. He was a
Yeah.
friggin' entitled, elitist
Okay.
asshole.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I can see
that I
that.
can see. Because if you're talking about the clone, no, I'm
No,
Okay.
the clone. The clone
No,
is
not the
insane.
clone.
Okay.
Him, the
Okay.
original. Yeah.
fair enough. fair enough.
Jorah Sabaoth is the
The
clone.
original was borderline insane, but
Okay.
it was also
fair
dark
enough.
too. I mean, that dude stopped the missile right in the front, or right in a damn. We're getting off track here.
Yes.
Sorry.
So
Yeah, badly.
Super Bitch can do all sorts of stuff. I mean, she could feel all sorts of stuff. She's just so freaking great, people. Oh God, I threw up in my mouth a little saying
Kill him.
that. But anyway,
Dodgeball.
she
Great
also,
movie.
like Vaylin, she has very little in the way of lightsaber training.
hmm
And also because, well, Disney had to make her so fucking powerful, she could stop a lightsaber, as can Ben. Or
Or
Emo
sneeze
Bakers,
it.
we love to call him.
Okay, hold on. He can stop a lightsaber.
Satil Sean
Basically-
did it.
That's what
Satil
they
Sean-
did in...
I know
That was
Satil
To the
Sean-
Menace.
I know
That was To the
Satil-
Menace.
Yeah, that's Tuta Menace. That's an actual legit force.
I know. But I'm saying is,
Ah.
when did she do that? Was that Rise of
Yeah.
Palpatine?
It was, yeah,
all
in
that.
episode 9, that Ben swings at her, she stops it with the Force, and she swings at him, and then he stops hers with the Force. And it's like,
That's so
okay,
dumb.
yeah, now you're delving into Valkorian's playground. Get the fuck out.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
you know,
Because Valkorian in the game, it's like, he just sticks his hand up, doink, 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 yeah.
that's
right,
who it should have
you're not
been. It
touching
should
me
have
with
been.
that.
It should have been revealed to be Valkorian. Like, yeah, it
Oh,
would
yeah,
make
yes.
sense, but it would have
Oh,
been
dear
better
God,
than
yes.
Palpatine again.
I know. But anyway, so yeah, we got, now that we've given you guys all the sort of goodies on each, well, we didn't really cover a lot of Valen. I mean, what do you guys know about Valen? Because we all already know about Super Bitch. Let's go to Valen now. What do we all know about Valen?
Well, let's see. She's a quarter or a third pureblood Sith. Amara speaking.
No, she's not. Technically, she's not, because when Valkorian hops bodies, he's not using, or he doesn't.
Well, I
The
mean,
genetics don't follow.
when Vichy is hopping bodies, the Valkorian is human.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah,
I
Valkorian
keep
was
forgetting that. I'm
human.
sorry, guys. I keep forgetting that fact. Okay,
Yeah.
she's
all
the,
right.
she's the progeny of a pureblood Sith. Let's put it that way.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Amara
Spiritually,
speaking.
yes.
Spiritually, yeah, she's the progeny of a pureblood Sith, which a pureblood Sith who dates back all the way to the time of Marco freaking Ragnos, one of the most OG badass Sith lords ever,
And
Yeah.
voiced by actor Metal in Jedi Academy.
who was actually legitimately not fearful of Valkorian, but was like, dude, you're legit. I'm gonna send you
You're
off.
going places.
You're gonna go places after I'm gone. So
It makes me
from-
wonder.
No.
It makes me wonder why he. I don't know if he never named Nagasadao as his successor, but
no, pretty much the spirit
Let
of
him battle it
Ragnos.
out.
Yeah, pretty much Sadao and Ludo Kresh or anything had to battle it out.
Kresh.
Ludo Kresh, that's what I said. I remember first names. I'm wacky that way. Well, from my research,
those comics.
oh, Annihilus, they are so good. I'm still trying to find the trades of them and everything, but they're so freaking expensive.
My library has the omnibuses, and I rented them. Volume 2 has the first 20 pages of the Freedom Net Uprising missing. I am so.
Oh man.
Oh man,
Dude. Okay. Well,
That's
from my research on Vaylin, this is what I know. She's insanely powerful in terms of force telekinesis. After she gets the mind block or the force block and everything removed, her and her brother, what's the name of Orange Hand? Arkin. Oh, yeah.
And then
Her-
Vexen was the brother that died.
Yeah, Vexen, Arkin and Vexen were the two brothers. She was the other. She was the sister. She was using the Force in the womb. She was using Force telekinesis, Force crush, all at the same time, essentially. You name it, this young woman was immensely powerful and everything at a very young age, and her power just grew exponentially to the point where her own father was afraid of her. I mean, let's be candid here.
Mhm.
When you're an exceedingly powerful dark side wielder, an exceedingly powerful Sith Lord, and you have the ability to hop bodies, and one of your own kids frightens you, so much to the point where when you put a force block on her abilities. Yeah, let's just say it. Vaylin is immensely powerful. She doesn't even need a freaking lightsaber. She uses one, I think, on occasion.
Yeah.
But she
Yeah,
doesn't.
She doesn't need it.
she really
No.
does.
She's actually not really proficient in use of a lightsaber.
She only uses it to toy with her victims.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, let's face it, she can probably. I have not seen it, but I would wager, considering her power scale, she can emanate exceedingly powerful force lightning fields. She may even be able to do force storm. I don't know for sure. The rest of you can
Vaylin,
probably.
yeah, she can do she created a force storm.
Okay.
Yeah, what is
I
Force
think-
Storm?
I think the only reason we never actually see that is because I'm not sure that the game's engine was designed to show that kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, she can also
Oh.
do one more thing. She can also create a death field that's 1,000 times more magnified than the normal Sith death field. I mean, when she had her power unleashed, she was literally killing everything that was organic inside the facility on Nathema.
Yeah,
I like to think
Yeah.
that.
Anybody who-
annihilating everything. Yes.
I like to
Yeah.
think that that's the kind of death field that just mummifies everything within its range.
Yeah.
Like
And-
No, it doesn't
Pokemon did.
mummify it. It completely erases it. She was
Yeah,
basically
they're gone.
tapping into
Annihilation. Yes.
yeah,
Okay,
as
and
your
can
name
I-
implies, Annihilus. She was.
Yeah.
It's
Mhm.
basically what Vitiate did to Ziost,
Yeah.
except on a smaller level.
She can
Yeah.
also
and
resist Vitiate's he has the ability to kind of like freeze time, things like that, but she has the ability
Mhm.
to resist it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
She actually can push through that.
And to answer Raikei's question real quick, a force storm is essentially like, it's like
Super
force
Sith lightning,
lightning.
basically.
It's like force lightning magnified to the 10th power or more.
Mhm. Yeah.
It can essentially destroy ships.
A giant
you ever-
hurricane of fuck off.
Oh, so it's
Um,
like an electric chair setting. Okay.
Right.
Right. Have
Raikei,
you ever, or did you see episode 9?
Yes. So that's
Basically,
what
what
Palpatine
Palpatine
did?
was doing was a force. Yes, that was
Yeah.
a force storm.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
If you want a better representation, if you ever read Dark Empire or Dark Empire 2, Palpatine in those books and everything, he can manifest a force storm that looks like a giant wormhole in space,
Black
that can essentially, or a black hole and everything that can essentially destroy it destroyed a couple of Nebula B freighters or frigates.
Yeah, like
I'm
that's
just
what,
starting to
those are-
dive into the books and stuff. So
that's what
Not
ticked me
good.
off about the Force Storm in Episode 9. It was weak. It was like, oh,
it
I'm
was
just
that
gonna-
was enough.
Yeah.
It's just a
cinematically,
giant
Yes, that was-
It's just
Mhm.
an EMP. That's all it was. And then Dark Empire is like, oh, okay, I'm gonna just rip apart all the ships in orbit. No big deal.
And
Yeah.
not to mention a good chunk of the surface of Coruscant.
Uh-huh.
Boy, that reminded me. That reminded me of like Clone Wars, kind of.
And also, he
In a
completely
sense.
annihilated
Mm.
Biss.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did that too.
Mm-hmm.
Now, because Rey is so fucking awesome, oh god, it still hurts to say that, you know. But anyway, yeah, get all your raspberries in, folks. Now, she potentially has that ability or that power. Now we see her
Yeah.
use Force Lightning by accident
Oh no!
and think that she killed Chewie, which, god damn it, that would have been a mercy for Chewie. I'm sorry, folks.
Okay, I have a
much-
question to kind of
Yeah.
digress a little bit. That scene, was she playing Force Tug of War with Kylo Ren again?
Yes.
Yes.
Essentially.
Yeah,
Yes.
with the ship.
Yes.
So why
Yeah.
didn't Kylo Ren just force push her and break her concentration?
Because
You
no
should've-
because no one knows how to write movies these days.
Okay,
Exactly.
okay, moving
Because it's
on.
more fun to play Force Tug of War.
Alright, moving on. Okay, that's
Like a
okay.
couple of children.
Like,
It's just, let's
I
play
could
Force
give
Tug of
it
War.
in lore answer, but they didn't care. Why should I?
Yeah.
Exactly. Now, again, so we're gonna get into the fight now because holy shit, we're already 33 minutes in. We could go over an hour because you know what, we started late. So yeah.
Sorry.
It's all right. Hey, why the hell are you
I don't mind going long. I like long streams. I'm wacky that way.
Yeah. Also, if I ever do get to 1,000 subs, I have this, or I have the versus streams in a playlist. So just put them on cycle or a loop.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Anyway, yeah. All right. So basically, they both, Vaylin and Rey Palpatine, both suck at lightsaber fighting, but they're very powerful in the Force.
Mhm.
Now, like I said, folks, I'm defending Rey, but I already know that this is a foregone conclusion. Basically, Vaylin could just snap her fingers and raise like a bloody mess on the floor.
Yeah.
Like Dr. Manhattan. Vaylin is
basically.
Vaylin
Essentially.
is the Star Wars equivalent of Dr. Manhattan.
Except she's not blue and naked.
Yeah, but who would want to see that?
Wow.
Not so much blue,
That's
but I wouldn't
good,
mind. Well, all right, moving on. We're not going to get perverted in here.
Moving on.
Yeah, not to mention we have a pastor in the chat, so let's not.
Do we? Oh,
Yeah,
hey,
Pastor
G. What's up, man?
What's up?
Pleased to meet you, Pastor G.
I'm going
we
back to
got-
Ray
there.
too.
Yeah, we got so basically. How would you all see it go? Let me rephrase. how many seconds, because we know that Rey's not lasting a minute, how many seconds would she last?
A millisecond.
Okay.
Go ahead, Mom.
I was going to give her 10 seconds only because Valen likes to play with her food.
That's what I was
that's
going to say. 10 seconds because Vaylin likes to play. My exact same answer as well.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say 4.5 seconds because Vaylin's gonna scan her mind, go, yep, there's nothing of value here, and go, poof, you're dead.
Annihilus, you said not even a millisecond. Rey, Kitty. I mean, we're both defending Rey here, so how long do you think she'd last?
Well, I don't really know Vaylin all that well. I read her up on the wiki. Let's see. I would think 30 seconds.
Generally,
Yeah, I would.
30 seconds here.
I'll give her 32 because Vaylin does like to play with her food, folks. Let's be completely honest. Vaylin would have so much fun just toying with her. And after she got bored, after 30 seconds, it'd be like, oh, geez, you're just not fun. Smack, and she's dead.
make her feel
I mean,
complete and
okay,
utter
that's it.
despair
End
before
screen.
before she delivers the final blow. Just to
That's
really
not
rub the
good.
salt in the wound.
You guys, that's not even a good rebuttal towards from Rey towards Vaylin from the two are defending Rey whatsoever.
True, but goddamn it. All right.
They're doing it out of obligation,
Fine.
not because they actually think she can win. This is defense out of obligation.
Yeah, true.
Yeah,
Well,
this is
Fine. You want me to do a good defense? Okay. Rey's a Mary Sue, so she automatically wins. How's that for an SJW?
Okay, I'll do slightly better defense. So Rey right now, she can pull ships, right? At a tug of war.
Barely.
If she calls Vaylin and then she shows up, then she can tug of war the ship and smack it down the ground. Bam, dead. We're good.
There you
No.
go. Yeah.
No.
No, sorry, because Vaylin would be like, I'm just going to create a force cocoon around myself and survive this crash because I imagine she can do that.
Also, oh, you pulled one ship. That's cute. Pulls a fleet.
Yep, there you go.
And not just any fleet, the Eternal Fleet.
or she could just go ahead and just
there you go.
everybody that's around them and just kill Rey in that as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh, you're a special needs Jedi, aren't you special? I'm just going to smack you like a redhead. I'm going to smack you like a redheaded stepchild. And I'm sorry for any redheads or stepchildren in the chat. No offense intended to anybody who's watching this now or watch it later. I don't dislike stepchildren and I don't dislike redheads. I actually have many friends who are redheads. Not to mention my wife.
he means everyone. Don't listen.
Just like you're special needs.
Anyway.
I'm sorry.
So
Rey
here's
was
the
not
thing,
last.
folks. Somebody tag. You know what? Because this was a live stream created purely out of fucking spite. I want somebody to tag fucking Disney on Twitter and share the stream to their fucking timeline.
Oh dear.
Because, like, everybody in the chat, because it definitely needs to be more than one people. Because we also need to teach Disney a lesson.
Oh,
We're
Pastor
fighting
G,
Disney
thank you.
tonight.
Pastor
Fair
G,
Yes,
is
thank
how
you, man.
do a female character. Who is
Oh,
dark side?
This is
and Pastor G,
Exactly.
just, I don't know, Pastor G. This is a very
Female
sincere
dark
statement.
side?
Here's a controversial one. Since both of them are not proficient in lightsaber dueling, who would win?
You mean like just lightsabers or just
lightsaber. Just lightsaber in the south.
if it just came down to lightsabers.
Yes,
Vaylin
just
would win.
lightsaber.
I would actually
Vaylin.
Still
probably
be
get
Valen because
It's
I might
extreme.
have to go
Valen
Rey on
has-
this one. Not out of
Valen has
spite,
a
just
understanding of at least some of the 7 forms.
Yeah,
Well,
Vaylin
it's like-
actually was trained in some of the forms because if you look at some of the cinematics, she's proficient. Is she like a Sith Marauder in turn? Because those are your lightsabers purists and everything. Your pure.
She wouldn't be a
you're-
marauder.
and everything.
But
But she
focused force users.
But she's proficient and everything. Rey has had jack all of lightsaber training.
But Rey has.
I think the one thing I would give to Rey, though, and this is unironically, is that she is an acrobat. She can climb, she can dodge, she can do that stuff. So I think she would.
Can't do it forever.
Be good.
Mm-hmm. She's eventually going to get tired, and Valen's just going to freeze her.
All force users are sense acrobats as well. So I mean, that's a given, especially when you're really like when you go pre-OT timeline. Everybody, and we go into PT and beyond that, everybody is proficient, no matter if you're Sith, dark side, or Jedi, whatever, wielding a lightsaber. You train to duel, and you use the force, and so you have those acrobatic sensibilities through the force. So that's a given. But with Rey, she's not fully proficiently trained in the Jedi arts or in the arts of lightsaber dueling.
So she uses her lightsaber like a wacky stick.
Yeah, but she has the cheat code. And,
yeah, exactly.
Yep.
And
exactly.
He has like incompetent opponents, so it's like he has the.
But let's talk about opponents for just a second and everything. And Sean Contrell, whoever you are, I love that comment. Yes.
Yeah,
okay, cool. Let's very strongly consider who Valen has had to go up against in comparison to Rey.
Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Valen.
Knights of Zakul.
Kylo Ren is not a good opponent. I'm sorry.
Okay, no. Kylo Ren. Okay, I'm going to say this in defense of Kylo Ren. He had potential to be a truly interesting and fleshed out character. I liked him in Force Awakens. He had potential. That potential got ruined. Absolutely, positively ruined. The character of Kylo Ren had potential, but unfortunately, the execution sucked Bantha ass.
He's a giant baby throwing temper tantrums.
Well, honestly, like all I could think about Rise of Skywalker was like, you know what? What if Kylo Ren was the main character? And I'm just like,
there you go.
That could have been interesting.
Force Awakens, Rise of Skywalker.
Actually, I think Finn should have been the main character because he's kind of a ripoff in a way of Kyle Katarn.
Yes.
Here's an idea. What if they didn't throw out the EU and set the sequel trilogy about a generation after Legacy?
They could have done that. There's like stories after the book.
Even if they kept the same story, guess what? Nothing would change.
Yeah.
Like or like instead of Palpatine, have it be either Crate or Abeloth.
And
hey, Pastor G,
is that how you pronounce it, by the way, Abeloth?
I would love to have seen Abeloth. She would have been a great.
Oh man, yeah, Abeloth. That would have been
Abeloth in our lives.
And she's like, it's a female. She's a badass. She's a villain. She's powerful. I mean, I don't know.
Borderline Lovecraftian.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. She's like the Star Wars equivalent of a Lovecraftian creature, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And not to mention, I don't know if any of you watched the series of videos that Star Wars Theory did. I think it was like a couple of years ago. He did on the Mortis gods, the father, the son, and the daughter. He included Abeloth in that series and everything, and he subtitled her the mother, even though technically she isn't.
Yeah, she's the bringer of chaos. She's the mother. Yes.
Yeah, she is the mother.
She is the mother. You can't change her mind on that.
Yeah, she's a mother. She drank
from the font. She drank from the font of power and swam in the fountain of knowledge, I believe, is what it was.
Soul Assassin's like Rey had massive plot armor, but who cares?
Yeah.
Plot armor is only about maybe millimeter thin after Rise of Skywalker, and this is after Rise of Skywalker. We're bringing back, or we're basically throwing Vaylin into the future just to bitch slap Palpatine.
Yeah, here's the thing. Here's a cool what if. Vaylin returns from the nether realm of the dark side. She's that freaking powerful. She comes into the future and she's like, what the hell has happened to my galaxy? And she goes to Tatooine at the end of Rise of Skywalker and she's like, who the hell are you? I'm Rey Palpatine. Rey Palpatine? Who the hell is Rey
Palpatine?
No, because I don't want to throw shade at Palpatine because he is legitimately awesome. Because honestly, that for me was not Palpatine in Rise of Skywalker. That was a half-baked. That was
literally half-baked.
Literally, he was a half-baked. He was a half-baked clone.
Yeah,
it was Poopatine.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, he was pooped out of whatever.
Well, honestly, like the movements in Rise of Skywalker for Palpatine reminded me of a haunted house.
Yeah, there you go.
Like that's what it is.
God
Not flying around.
Brilliant. That is brilliant.
Not a fun haunted house
that's
either.
A good one.
Like
he's
one
a
of
haunted
those
house decoration.
One of those like really crappy homemade ones that you can like set up in 5 minutes.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Vaylin arrives on, and she's like, "Who the hell are you?" And she's like, "I'm Rey Palpatine. Aren't I special? I have a yellow lightsaber now." And she's like, Vaylin's like, "I have a lightsaber too. Let's see how well you use it."
Vaylin's lightsaber was yellow too.
Yeah, that's what I just said.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Pachoo!" And Vaylin's like, "You're holding it wrong, you half-wit."
Okay, I'm gonna add
There you go.
your scenario, Ambassador. Okay, so in the movie, she got help from all the Jedi. So what if they come to her aid during this fight? So I'm not advocating for Rey, but I'm adding that in as well. Because you know that they came in and
I know.
There you go.
I know.
It ain't gonna matter.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. If they come to her aid, then all Valen have to do is to get Makaragnos, Nargasadao, and Ludo Crash and Frida Nad, and they'll go waste a bitch. And then meet back at the bar for some beers and tacos.
Exactly. I mean, here's the thing.
I thought you said mockery.
Marco Ragnos.
I mean,
Annihilus, you left out one very important one. Or
I
actually,
mean,
two.
not a lot of animation.
You left out Bane and you left out Zana.
Oh right,
and
right,
you left out Plagueis.
And
Plagueis, man, and Hannah would want to.
A million of them, man.
Hey, guess who just popped into the chat?
Zoshin would have been enough. Even Zoshin would have been enough to take out Rey, to be 100% honest. And she was the, I believe, considered the first Lord of the Sith or Lady of the Sith.
Yeah. Hey, look who just popped into the chat.
Hey, Jane.
Hey, Jane.
So glad you could join us, as you were the one that suggested this lovely versus stream. We've been having fun for 47 minutes. And we're talking about that super bitch, Rey, that you absolutely love. So, yeah. By the way, here's how I see that whole be with me. I mean, that's just like date rape demanding there. But anyway, oh, wait. Am I supposed to say that word out loud? Oh, wait. I'm not monetized. I don't care. The thing is, folks, she could do that whole be with me and summon up all the Jedi that she wants. And Vaylin would be like, cute trick. And it still wouldn't be enough.
Even better.
So Vaylin wouldn't need anyone.
Rey tries to do that, and Vaylin just puts a force block on her brain.
There you go.
Just puts a massive... Puts a giant,
and it's like a physical barrier, like it's metaphorical, of course, but it's shown as a physical barrier that just slides into place with the slide whistle effect.
Who do you think is winning, Jane?
Who do you think?
Honestly,
Jane, we love you, Jane, but think who do you think's going to win this fight? All Vaylin has to do, because Vaylin knows how to put a force block on a person. She had it done to herself, for crying out loud.
Yeah, but
so all she has to do is
really explain to her. I mean,
she could probably intuit it.
Possibly.
Smart.
Now, also, here's how I also see this whole thing going down. She actually arrives. She put her on Tatooine or whatever, and she's like, "Who are you?" And Rey goes, "Rey Skywalker." It's like, So she just uses the Force just to freaking force pull Rey to her forehead, or to her, and grabs her forehead. It's like, you're a Palpatine, bitch. Shut up. Stop lying to me. And she would lose her temper simply because the woman lied to her. This is Rey, folks, or this is Vaylin, folks. She has killed people for less.
Oh yeah,
pretty much. From my research, yeah.
Which is why she is and forever will be Star Wars Azula.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, folks, this woman, or the Knights of Ren were trying to justify. It's like, well, there's no way we could have known that. It's like, okay, fine. And then, afterthought, she just flicks her finger, and that woman is dead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's like, yeah, fine. Don't be sure.
This is not a showdown. This is not a one where keep you on the edge of your seat. Rey, she's just a Mary Sue. She has the ex machina plot armor type thing for her. That's not force abilities whatsoever. Even Corran Horn could probably beat her.
Like all Valen would have to do is just like twist her neck slightly, and then that would just like snap Rey's neck through the force.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's basically it. She can just do what 11 does.
I've seen it happen in There you go. I think I've seen her actually do it in the Old Republic.
Yeah, she does. She snaps a bunch of people's necks.
Yeah.
She kills one of your companions.
Start it. I haven't picked it up since.
Well, and here's the other thing.
I need to replay those expansions.
Okay, you want to talk about like underrated Jedi? When Jarl Poof could whip Rey, this is no contest.
Or Kazdan Paratus.
Yeah.
They get the biggest prick in the entire Force Unleashed. Fucking hate that guy.
Kazdan Paratus could slaughter Rey, to be 100% honest. He was insane. He built freaking... Dude, Kazdan Paratus built the Jedi Council out of junk and had them fighting with, vibroblades in this case, but still mimicking the fight or the lightsaber styles of the damn council.
Oh, Soul Assassin came up with a good fight. Maybe.
I mean, Windu. I'm sorry.
I still give it to Nazgul. Did you see how fast Kylo they went through the Knights of Ren? They were useless.
No, they are
very much.
Once he got
a group of potential Force users, dark side Force users that was like built up in the Force Awakens, and we never got anything through Episode 8, and then we see him again. There should have been potential there. There should have been fear factor there.
Yep.
They should have been freaking Force sensitive there.
Yep. That's what I was thinking. That's what I was thinking. I thought
Force sensitive. I mean, they were the Knights of fucking Ren. They should have been able to hunt Jedi and slaughter them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like the Bad Batch.
But then again, there was no Jedi left, so good point.
Hey guys, I'm probably gonna either back out or go on mute since I haven't eaten dinner yet. And
all right, go on mute and eat dinner.
All right.
Well, I think another angle would. Oh, bye, Annihilus. I think another angle would be like if they were just like political assassins, like political force assassin users, right? Like,
you could still do that because there were Sith assassins. So, I believe, right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you could have done something like that.
I mean, let's face it, folks. Also, we are also forgetting one thing that Rey could do. I mean, this bitch can summon things out of fucking thin air.
True.
Like what?
I mean, she did it in the freaking movie. I mean, she sent the lightsaber to Ben Skywalker, and he just gives that little shrug, like, yeah, I know it's Superman, bitch, but deal with it. This is the movie.
That's like an anti-monk kind of thing. So they took that from the lore from the anti-monks that you would concentrating so much, and George Cardis showed that in the duology, the Thrawn duology, and how you concentrate and one thing will appear from one room to the other. So they took that out of the lore, but it makes no sense because it's something that she was never trained in. Someone has to be specialized trained in that.
Yep.
Luke couldn't even do it.
Yeah.
In the immortal words of Han Solo, that's not how the Force works.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, that was the best line in the entire Disney trilogy.
And then
because it is applied to all of the freaking trilogy. That's not how the Force works.
Yeah, which JJ promptly
That
forgot.
was almost
He did
prophetic.
Rise of Skywalker or Palpatine.
Lawrence Kasdan and J.J. Abrams were almost prophetic in that moment.
Dude, almost? They were prophetic in that moment.
Ooh, Sean Contrell. Proper Sith assassins by themselves can solo Knights of Ren. Yeah, I would agree with that wholeheartedly. Maul would wipe Maul would wipe the floor with the Knights of Ren. He's like, "Oh, aren't you cute? You're dead."
Yeah.
I mean, for heaven's sakes, this
Vader,
is
5 seconds in his suit could kill the Knights of Ren. Let's be completely honest, folks. And I literally mean 5 seconds after he got in that suit, he could kill the Knights of Ren.
The Solo twins together can take on the Knights of Ren. I'm sorry. They were just a waste of time.
The who?
The Solo twins. Jaina
Jaina and Jack.
Man, they could take them as babies and win.
Sean Contrell, you better hush. Books and holocrons are a good supplement for a good teacher. No, they're not.
No, yeah.
You need an actual instructor.
He's just trolling there.
I know, and that's fine.
But yeah. Why couldn't there be other Jedi Order in the sequel trilogy? Why did they treat Luke, Leia, and Han with such disrespect? Asks Pastor G. Well, dude, that is one question that I would literally like to go into the office of Kathleen Kennedy, tie her to a freaking chair with bamboo reeds ready to go, and say, "Why did you do this?"
No,
subverting expectations.
That escalated.
Orange Hat. I raised your method, and I double it. I would go Mads Mikkelsen from Casino Royale. What he did to James Bond in Casino Royale after the car crash. I would tie her to a chair, cut out the bottom of the chair, and use that rope ball thing to mangle her.
Ow.
Wow.
That just sounds like something very pervertedly dirty.
Yeah.
You guys both sound pervertedly
painful.
dirty during that thing.
But to answer that question,
and that's the point.
To answer that question, why couldn't they show Jedi Order in the sequel trilogy? Well, that would have required them to have an ounce of creativity that they didn't have. And why did they treat Luke and Leia and Han with such disrespect? Well, first off, for two reasons, kind of like going hand in hand. One, you had to bring down the existing characters to elevate the new ones because they had no legs to stand on their own.
Exactly.
And two, at least of those three, Luke and Han are white men, and that straight white men, and that is the unholy trinity.
Yep.
Yeah, white man is bad.
So, and then
kiss my butt, KK.
And then Rey is supposed to be the new hero of the female hero of the saga. So Leia has to go.
You know, and I made this comment a few weeks ago. I don't remember if it was on Discord or Twitter or whatever. In 20 years, we will still remember Han, Luke, and Leia. Rey, Finn, and Poe, they'll be like, who?
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Rey,
I think
Finn,
it's
and Poe,
already
they sound like
started
Teletubbies.
happening.
I mean, what do you think?
You know what? Sorry.
They sound like Teletubby names.
Yeah. I mean, like,
In fact, one of them is a Teletubby name.
We're like 43 years since A New Hope, and we're still talking about that movie.
Exactly. It's timeless because of how George focused on writing it and how he cared about the human condition and put it in the characters that are fictional, and we can all relate to it no matter our skin color, gender, or whatever. And and it's proven in the EU that new characters are brought out without having to put Luke or Leia or Han in the back burner and destroy their characters. So it's proven that it can be done.
Exactly.
Duh. Yeah.
So.
OG,
if I may for a second.
Yeah.
the thing is, all these SJWs out there are bitching that the EU is not diverse. Well, all right, let's break this down, folks. Take out the alien element for a second, just 1 second. I looked at the original trilogy, and I saw diversity, not just with Lando Calrissian, but if you look at the original or Star Wars, A New Hope, you're seeing all sorts of Tunisians in Mos Eisley.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
People with darker skin colors. But also with the EU, there's a gay freaking Mandalorian that is the second in command to Boba Fett.
Yeah, as he's Mandalore, yes.
Yeah, it's like, you got a gay Mandalorian, you got so many different races. I mean, wasn't Winter, what was her last name?
I mean, Leia's advisor, Winter.
Yeah.
Winter? Yeah. Tycho Selchu's wife.
Yep. She was also, I believe, ethnically diverse.
Winter. No. Here's the thing about Winter. Her and Leia were almost like twins. They looked so much alike, except Winter had really bright white hair, and that's why she was called Winter. If
All
I
right,
remember
then she was an albino head. There you go.
And
But
also,
here-
Damn it.
to kind of expand on that, the leader of the Rebel Alliance was a woman.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Mon
Yep,
Mothma.
there you go. Mon Mothma. You also
Well,
have...
bam.
Oh, and she's dead in the Disney trilogy because, of course, we can't have original characters.
yeah, that's
'cause
true.
yeah.
OG, I would love to. I'm what you call first generation EU. I was like in my late adolescence when the EU started and everything. With I would love to talk EU with you sometime because I
Okay.
loved it. I loved the EU and everything.
Okay.
It was so great. I mean, I remember the books. I remember the movie. I remember all the stuff. Shadows of the Empire. I loved Shadows of the Empire. All they needed was a freaking
boss.
the only thing I wish somebody would do is do like animated shorts of Shadows of the Empire. That would be awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Like there's a couple of channels out there that are doing animated shorts of I think the
Heir to
Throne.
the Empire. Yeah.
Heir to the Empire.
And there's that one beautiful one that's Invincible that has the Solo Twins.
I remember that one. That one's awesome.
I was gonna watch that, but then I think I saved it, but then I accidentally kicked it off of one of my playlists by accident, and I'm like, "Fuck!" Now I gotta find it again. So I'm definitely looking for that before I go to bed tonight.
Yeah.
But also, what a lot of people don't realize in the EU, Palpatine wasn't alone when he contacted Vader in Empire Strikes Back.
Mm-hmm.
No,
Prince
Shizor.
I always call them Zyor, but Shizor works as well.
It's pronounced. It's the X is pronounced as a Z.
Yeah.
Shizor.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He was
like
he was called the race was called
He was a Falleen.
Falleen.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Falleen.
Pauline.
because you see them periodically in Clone Wars.
Yeah,
Yeah,
And
they
it's
could
like-
led the
I
Black
think-
Sun.
yeah, they were the Black Sun.
Well, Mara, OG, you probably both remember this. The Maul Hunter, Dark Horse comic, Shadow Hunter, where Sidious sends him after the Black Sun, and Maul's like, "Do you want me to completely destroy them?" And Palpatine's like, "No, because I'll have some use for them down the road," which keeps canon intact. Wow. Holy crap! A little
That's an
itty-bitty
interesting
story.
concept, right?
I know.
Holy freaking crap!
I mean, and here's another thing. I believe it was when he was going after Black Sun Maul.
Mhm.
There was a Night Sister, Miguel,
Yep.
there,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and she uses Force lightning. Because here's the thing, folks.
It's a version of Force Lightning. Yeah.
The felonious version of Clone Wars and the Night Sisters, they don't have the Force. They have magic, and
Yeah.
I'm like,
God, that makes me cringe. They
Night Sisters
destroy.
were more sensitive. They called it by different names, or because they actually considered it they actually had a dark side, light side version of it. I mean,
Mhm.
Jess Zirian was one of the most powerful Night Sisters out there.
Yep.
She just flicked her finger and nearly killed Luke.
Mm-hmm.
Pastor G, you got your priorities straight, man. And Pastor G, I don't know what denomination you are, but I myself, I'm working towards getting licensed and ordained. So pleasure to meet you, truly.
Good luck on that.
So do we come to the conclusion on the winner here then, since we're just talking straight EU now?
Yeah, I say we have.
I'd say we have. Okay, folks.
A long time ago.
How vote you? We'll start with the ladies first. Riot, how vote you? Who wins?
Tie.
Right? Tie. Okay. Mara.
I don't know Vaylin that well, so I'm just saying tie. So
it's okay. It's fine.
Fair enough.
I'm giving it to Valen. Yes, Rey has Mary Sue plot armor, but Valen would look at her and go, "That's cute."
Exactly. All right, OG.
I go with Valen as well, due to the fact that, when you look at Valen's lore versus Rey, again, there's more training, there's more, there's more intact with the Force abilities, even for the Sith as well. And so she has more, immense power compared to Rey. Even the, even inherited power, I guess you can say, and raw power. She is way more advanced than Rey is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right.
Yep.
Annihilus is still eating, but we all know that he's going to save Vaylin anyway.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Ambassador.
In the immortal words of Mortal Kombat, finish her. Vaylin. Full stop.
And, well, now it comes down to me. Well, Rey is just so powerful, but let's just fucking face it. Frickin' Vaylin just slaughtered her in like 1 second. Now, we got something that Riot, I am guessing, wants to share something. So let's see what this is.
Well, you all were talking about diversity and stuff, so I have this beauty in my room.
All righty.
Dude,
seriously awesome.
So
shit,
much.
Man.
Yep.
I've seen that so much.
Up there. Mm-hmm. That is awesome.
In the back.
I know. That is just like very cool.
We need a Night Sister up there on the Rancor. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, because they actually rode those things, man.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I also like Courtship of Princess Leia is one of my. I believe it's actually my third standalone book. Third standalone favorite novel, because Plagueis is my favorite. No, wait, Dark Rendezvous is my favorite. Plagueis is my second, and Courtship of Princess Leia is my third standalone favorites.
Wow. Okay.
But yeah,
that is.
Hold on.
Look who the focus is when you go to center. It's Leia. Look at that.
It's Han, Luke, and Leia and Vader. That's the focus.
Mm-hmm. We have at Padme. We have Panda Bear. Sorry, from our talk.
That's okay.
Yeah, we have her off on the side with the Ewok. But when you focus on that, we go to Luke and Leia. A New Hope. They're dressed in the New Hope attire, and so we see them in their innocence.
Yeah.
I think that's very compelling.
Right.
Yeah, the pit droid's cute.
Yeah.
Then they got
Raging Rhino's here.
Dude, Raging Rhino. Man.
Mm.
Finally, we got some Australian. We got some Australian representation in the chat.
We finally have diversity in the chat. Oh.
Yeah, there we go. Oh, my chat is extremely diverse.
Yeah. Well, and not only that, you've got Old Ben behind the twins. How appropriate is that?
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Yeah.
You have Old Ben and Young Ben on there.
Yeah.
You know what I find extremely funny though? You got the father-in-law to Han Solo directly behind him. It's his right hand that's behind him. So it's like, yeah, you freaking treat my daughter wrong in any way, shape, or form, my lightsaber ignites.
Oh yeah. All right, everybody, scooch in. Scooch in tighter. Okay.
Yep.
All right, Amidala, you can be out in front a little bit. That's fine. Wicket, you be in front of Amidala. Yoda, you be in front of Vader. Little Anakin, you be next to Yoda. Let's put the short people first. Put them down in front. That's
Is
perfect.
that Slice Noodles on the far
Yeah, I
left?
was gonna say that's Slice Noodles down there.
I think it
with
is.
the Jizz group or with the Jizz band. No, seriously, that is what it's called,
I
folks.
know.
Yeah, I'm not
I
being
know.
perverted at all.
I know
They
you're
actually
not.
called- I know you know, but everybody else doesn't. It's like, yeah, when they call, it's like it's not jazz, it's jizz. It's like it's like a 70s porn freaking term, dude. Seriously.
Oh, God.
Well, and can I say the ships in the background are really nice too and everything because you even got Home 1
Mm-hmm.
just below Imperial 2 Star Destroyer.
I don't. Okay, so I'm not
Yep.
trying to change the subject, but I don't like that they have Padme, or not Padme, that they have Shmi way out on the left side corner.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she should be like really, really close to Anakin. I mean, that was her
Yeah.
freaking.
Well, is Anakin even in the picture? I can't really make it out.
Well, there's
Little
little Anakin.
Anakin is right underneath, or is right next to
there's
Yoda.
little Anakin underneath Darth Vader, but not.
But not
Like-
Anakin.
No, I'm talking about like teenage.
No.
Teen.
No, he's not there.
Where's the Emperor?
That's a good question. Yeah, he's not in there either.
He's over there. You gotta
Oh,
look
I
in
see
the
him.
far
He's
right.
behind Maul.
Way in the
Oh,
back.
there he is. He's hiding. Okay, there
Yeah,
he
he's
is.
behind
Wait, is he
Maul.
behind two? Or is he behind? He's behind Maul and 2 Scout Troopers, I believe.
One
He's
Scout
also
Trooper
behind a
and
Jedi,
I
I
think it's
think.
Ayla Sakura.
The blue Twilight women.
Yeah.
Man, where's Apollo Patriot? He would love. He would be screaming his head off. Blue Twilight women.
Yeah, it looks like Darth Maul's gonna have a nice, fun time with them.
Oh yeah.
And-
You know those Zybrax, they like to get down with the Twi'leks.
Well, yeah.
Oh,
So like, if
And
like,
they just go
you know,
ack.
And seeing Boba Fett, it just
Oh.
reminds me of this article I read on We Got This Covered that ticked me off.
Do you really believe anything that's on that site?
No, but I wouldn't put it past Disney to do this, and it was the article was entitled basically reveals how Boba Fett survived the Sarlacc, so like Disney's version of surviving the
Oh.
Sarlacc, and it
Oh,
involved,
trust me.
it
I went off
involved
on that too.
Tag and Brink.
Tad and Bink.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the article they misspelled his name. It's Tag and Bink, but they have it as Tag and Brink. So yeah, journalistic integrity right
Tweedledee
there.
and Tweedledum.
But to quote it, it says in exchange for not killing them, because I guess like they kind of help him get out of the Sarlacc pit in a way, because they're down there as well. Boba Fett kicked them in. In exchange for not killing them, Boba extracts a promise from them to inform anyone who asks that he was elsewhere at the time of his supposed death, and that, quote, Boba Fett does not scream like a girl and was in no way thwarted by a blind guy swinging a stick.
I love that.
Oh yeah, that would be the ultimate. That would just be like the ultimate embarrassment.
Only, you know, I used to have a copy of Tales of the Bounty Hunters, which actually tells a very good adaptation of how Fett got out of the Sarlacc, and he's messed up after the fact, but he's still going
Oh yeah,
hard.
Bounty Hunter
I
Wars.
have returned.
Yep.
It
Hey,
takes them a whole entire novel because there's a series. It's a trilogy. It takes him a whole entire, maybe a novel, maybe a novel and a half for him to recover.
mhm.
That is a gorgeous
From that.
poster, by the way.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Casey.
it is. I have it hanging up in my room. They sell it at Walmart. So I mean, if you guys want to go there, yeah.
Nice.
If you dare go to
Welcome to
Walmart.
Walmart.
Like that's
Check
literally the only
it out.
Star Wars poster they have, which is interesting.
My thing is why do they have the Imperial Guard right behind Vader, but the Emperor's way off to the right hand of the corner? Why is it behind Vader?
I don't know. It's just the way they designed the
I know.
poster.
I'm just me being an artist and just loving Star Wars and stuff and knowing the
Yeah.
importance of these characters. I would not put the Emperor way in the side, and I wouldn't put Shmi there either.
I like the
That's-
Rancor to the
Yeah,
slightly
I was
to the
going to
right
say
of
the Rancor
AT-ST.
looks good. Yeah, the Rancor, that's a good shot of the Rancor.
Now let me ask you guys this about Shmi. How force sensitive would you say that she is?
I would say very low.
I would say it would be enough to not have her train as a Jedi, but I think she would have some. When I was looking up Force sensibility, like midichlorian wise, like even Padme, she was like in the 33,000s, and to become a Jedi, you have to have 7,000 count or higher. And so I don't remember Shmi's though. I need to go back and research that one just out of curiosity. But yeah, so she has significant enough to maybe have an innate like instinct, but not enough to be a Jedi.
Yeah, I would say she was in the animated, or not animated, but the visual dictionary. She is force sensitive to the point where she could always sense when Anakin was nearby.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see. Shmi is at 3,300.
Okay.
Padme was at 4,700.
Yeah.
Well,
when was this all established?
Well, and here's the other thing too. It has been established and everything through EU lore and everything, and OG and Mara, you probably both know this, and Rye Kitty. Well, most everybody may know this. Even Tarkin was force sensitive. So
the fuck?
Yeah, Tarkin. Yeah. Where is he? Is he on this list?
I didn't see him on the list, but he might be. I wasn't.
There was a card game that came out in the early 90s, I think it was. That was a Star Wars card game, and that basically that was established as canon. And Tarkin is force sensitive. He can't wield the force, but he can like sense ripples in the force. Because if you remember, there's that one shot and everything, right when Vader walks up behind him, and he asks. They've just jumped to hyperspace, and he's like, "Is the tracker in place?" And he's like, "Yeah." And Vader makes that comment: "This will be a day long remembered. It has seen the end of Kenobi, will soon seen the end of the rebellion." And Tarkin gives him that. He has that look on his face, like,
Are you sure about that?
I mean, if Tarkin had if he had any sort of ability to intuit the Force, you'd think that even at that low of a level, he would have intuited danger.
Well, here's the thing. Even if you can intuit danger through the Force, that doesn't mean you're necessarily going to act on it. Because think about it. Yoda was immensely powerful in the Force, and even his vision wasn't perfect.
And those who don't know that they're force sensitives or even believe in it, they'll just think it's just like, a second guess or, a feeling or whatever. But so they won't act upon it because they wouldn't know the difference.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
True.
Because
Anakin always thought that it was
Solo has 1,500.
What happened, Mara?
So even Han Solo and Boba Fett have like 1,500 midichlorian count. So like his reflexes.
I could see that.
So it's like it's not high enough for him to be like force sensitive, but for his reflexes and pilot skills, it could factor in a little bit.
Oh yeah. And that also gives us the Solo luck why he was. And at the end of like Fate of the Jedi, they even ponder, like even Jaina ponders, is my dad force sensitive? Sometimes I wonder about that. Yeah.
I mean, even in Force Awakens, you could tell that he's got a lot of intuitive ability because he goes out, shoots one dude in front of him, just without even looking, blasts a stormtrooper right behind him.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, folks, I do not like the Disney trilogy, but I will sometimes refer to it in certain areas. And like I said, I don't mind The Force Awakens. It's the other two that just don't fucking rub the right way.
I never really liked The Force Awakens either. It just... There was no...
It had potential. It was wasted.
Here's the thing, and this is something that other people have commented on. It's something I agree with myself. We, as fans of Star Wars, had gone through such a long, dry spell, except for maybe Clone Wars. We had Clone Wars, and that was about it, and we still had stuff from the EU. But for a lot of people, this was their first opportunity to see a Star Wars movie on the big screen. And I'm like I said, I was first generation EU. And when they released the trailer back in 96 or early or 97, when they were doing the re-releases with the special edition. I watched that trailer today, and I still tear up. Because for me, that was my opportunity to go to a theater and sit down and watch the original trilogy from start to finish. Mm-hmm. I got that same feeling when I watched the trailer for Force Awakens. I still teared up.
That's fair.
And
that's fair.
For so many years, we had the prequels, and the prequels were good for what they were. I know a lot of people still hate on them. But I think a lot of people were swayed by online critics, unfortunately. And I'll be the first to admit, I was too. Mm-hmm. But I have been able to sit down and say, what is it about the prequels that I liked? What did I remember about the prequels that I liked? And I'm thinking, these are not the greatest thing ever, but it's Star Wars. It expands the lore. It gives you background. And it gave us Clone Wars. The prequels were the impetus for the Clone Wars to be made so that story could be told as well. And even though there are flaws in the Clone Wars as well, there is so much more that is good than what is bad. That's the thing that's...
I'm going to add to yours as well before we move on, is that myself, as someone who, grew up with the EU and wanted to see Luke become, see what he does as a Jedi and reestablishing the Jedi Order and all this, and, knowing about the buyout and seeing The Force Awakens, I was skeptical, but I was curious. Mm-hmm. So, the thing is that, even when we weren't getting movies, the EU set the bar high for the lore.
Yes.
Set it really high. So once The Force Awakens came out, I'm like, really? This is what you're giving us, is a rehash of A New Hope, but just with a female character now. Mm-hmm. I expected a lot more. Even when they said they were not going to use the original lore and they were going to expand and make their own off of the movies, the 6 Foundation movies, I expected a lot more from them because the bar was already set high.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And then they just sent it plummeting into the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think the Disney trilogy would have went a lot better. Well, probably 30-40% better if they just had one director and one writer the whole time. Exactly. It didn't matter if it was J.J. Abrams or even Rian Johnson. It still would have turned out a lot better, I think.
Well, at least have one or maybe 2 of the same writers throughout the trilogy. That's where I think because the original trilogy proved that you could have a different director and still be cohesive. As long as the story was cohesive.
Exactly.
Yeah. And that's what they were lacking. This George Lucas's prequel trilogy and his original trilogy, he had the story in his head and it was planned and it was cohesive. What they did with their movies, they're like, we're just going to fucking wing it. And I'm like, after all was said and done, I looked at these 3 movies, and I tried watching all 3 movies recently as a trilogy, and I'm like, it doesn't work. It just doesn't. It's not meshing. It's like you're trying to take, or you're basically throwing mud at the wall and trying to see what sticks, and it's not sticking.
Nope.
Well, and here's the other thing. And I know a lot of revisionists have tried to say, well, George Lucas didn't have the whole story written out. Yes, he bloody did.
Yeah.
You're supposed to before you start a movie or a book or whatever.
Well, I mean, look at the special features in the prequel trilogy. If you had the DVDs, he had, or at the beginning of each one, or at the beginning of episode 1's special features, it's him. It shows him writing episode 1, and then at the end of those special features, it shows him writing on a notepad episode 2.
Here's the other thing. When he sat down and wrote the original treatment for Star Wars, it was massive. It included everything from the Clone Wars / prequels era all the way through to the end of Return of the Jedi. It was huge. So he took a chunk of it and said, okay, this is what I can do with the money that I'm going to get. And we got Star Wars, which eventually became Episode 4, A New Hope.
Yep.
He had all of that written down. He just had it filed away in whatever method he had it filed. And he just had to go back, pull it out, dust it off, and say, okay, here's how I'm going to do this. Unfortunately, he had a lot of disconnect with Hollywood, so he didn't have access to the Writers Guild and so on, or the Directors Guild. So he did pretty much the entire prequel trilogy on his own. It was almost like a privately funded I don't want to say fan film, but a independent movie. In a lot of ways, the prequels were pretty much were a privately funded.
They were independent.
Independent. And he just gave money, or he gave points or whatever to 20th Century Fox for them to release, so they could release it.
Yep.
Because he had worked with 20th Century Fox in the past.
And the thing is, if you guys or anybody who hasn't seen Empire of Dreams documentary,
oh man,
the reason why he or a lot of other studios wouldn't touch the prequels was because when he did the Star Wars trilogy, and when it was all said and done, Hollywood basically looked at George Lucas and said, this guy is a pain in the ass. They did not like him. They
because he wanted to be independent.
Fade.
Yeah.
Because he did not want to be part of the system. He didn't want to be bound by the restrictions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, and when he got out of USC and everything, the film school, and him and it's talked about Empire of Dreams. It was him and Francis Ford Coppola and Steven Spielberg and Brian De Palma and a bunch of other young up-and-comers. They started American Zoetrope. And unfortunately, the company imploded for I don't know exactly what reason, but it did. But he wanted to remain independent. And that's why there was so much friction between him and the Hollywood system. But thankfully, and I'll say this wholeheartedly, if it had not been for Alan Ladd Jr., we would have never gotten it, because every other studio turned Lucas down. So Alan Ladd Jr., wherever you are, and if you're resting in peace, may you rest in peace. Thank you for what you did. You gave George Lucas a chance.
Yeah, and what's so beautiful is that George set a lot of precedents within making filmmaking in Hollywood, to even now given as Pixar, which was one of his original creations, and sold it off and it became Pixar. So he did a lot of groundbreaking stuff as well, not only just with Star Wars. So
it's like what they say in the beginning of the VHS of the special edition. In 1977, George Lucas created the Star Wars trilogy and changed the way we looked at movies.
Mm-hmm.
That is a factual statement that can never be disproven.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, my dad was also saying that this also, which is not so much part of the story, but that's I think A New Hope, Star Wars, was, he said, the first film to have the credits at the end.
Yeah, it was because up until that point, there was a very formulaic way where movies were laid out, and Lucas fought hard. I mean, he fought hard and everything with 20th Century, even though he had allies on the inside like Alan Ladd Jr.
Mm-hmm.
Everything, he wanted to retain his artistic vision. And I was talking about this with Orange Chat last night and everything. I know he's had some spotty stuff come out during his career, but Zack Snyder is, I must say it, is one hell of a director.
Yeah.
And when he is not shackled by studios and everything and forced to play their game, the man can make good movies. Am I saying he's as great as George Lucas?
I don't think he's that good of a writer, though, in my opinion. He can be a good director, but I don't.
But wasn't that with George Lucas as well? He had the vision and creation, but there were some things that he tried he wasn't really good at, but yet look what we got.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But and here's the thing. Yeah, I will agree that in terms of as a writer and everything, Snyder's not that good. But as a visionary, as a visual storyteller, I will say this, and if y'all want to disagree, that's fine. You're entitled to it. He's as good as Lucas. as a visual storyteller, he is as good as Lucas. I wouldn't be surprised if he was inspired by Lucas to some respect.
Oh, I'm pretty sure
Who
he
wasn't
is.
inspired by Lucas?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at all the directors who say, I mean, one that I can remember right off the top of my head from Empire of Dreams, Peter Jackson. He's like, I was inspired by Lucas. I was inspired by Star Wars.
Everybody was. Basically, I mean, they had a bunch of different freaking movie makers in that documentary saying that much, if it wasn't for George Lucas, we wouldn't be where we were.
Yeah, because he bucked the system and he won. And he became, although he didn't intend to be, he became a studio all unto himself, Lucasfilm. For better or worse, whatever you want to say about the product that Lucasfilm and LucasArts and all the other stuff that was coming out of that company, it was different. It was visionary. It was inspired. It gave creatives a space in which to create their vision. And I don't think we'll ever get another. Well, we probably will never get another George Lucas in terms of somebody that comes along and starts their own company unintentionally and becomes a massive success the way he did.
All right, so I have this question for all of us to ponder, since we're seeing Disney being a big old corporate now, and do you think we need another rebirth of independent filmmakers to get better?
I do. I think we do. It's not just Disney. It's just Hollywood in general. It's just become like a factory assembly line, basically, of movies. And for it to get back to what it used to be back during the golden age of Hollywood, we need more independent directors, writers, companies to bring up and
full revamp, you say?
I mean, basically revamp Hollywood so that
basically is what we need.
Because it's almost like become like a monopoly in a way, and it needs to be broken up.
I agree, and yes, in my opinion, I think you need a lot. There needs to be a rebirth of independent filmmakers, and they're out there. They're out there doing their thing, but unfortunately, they don't get the notoriety that they deserve. Now, I've talked about this previously on other streams and everything that I've been on and I've done myself. We've got independent content creators and everything. We've got authors. We've got fan film makers on YouTube and everything. And YouTube gives them a voice, gives them an opportunity for their vision to be heard. Like with there's a couple of writers and everything. One I'll mention here, a guy named Adega, who does a lot of sci-fi, and he wrote a book and it's been published and it's sold out. It's called Evolution by Adega. Very talented writer. I have worked with him on YouTube and everything. I communicate with him frequently and everything. Very top-notch writer. You've got people like Alec Peters, who's working on the Axanar Project, which is a spinoff of Star Trek. You've got Trey from Macworld Entertainment, used to be Axanar Comics, who's writing his own freaking comics, or at least he was. And you've got no budget productions with Grant Major, who's doing Star Trek fan films as well. There are independents out there, and they've got a voice. They just need more of a push. And all these other people that are out there who are doing whatever they're doing, they need that push. They need that support, and they're slowly getting it because people are coming to YouTube to find different content, to find different forms of entertainment. And these men and women are out there doing their thing.
Yeah. All right, folks.
Can I give my thoughts on Hollywood?
Yes, give your thoughts.
Okay. Well, I think there's been way too many reboots, reimaginings, and all at an extremely high frequency. I don't think it's that much monopolies. Like an assembly line almost.
It's because
like a weird little robot that just goes over and like picks something from the vault.
You might say it's a bad robot.
I love your pun.
No.
Because that's where it all started, you know.
Just real quick, Soul Sats, and yes, a Dega outlaw, but when he writes, he's just simply known as a Dega, period. So, but yeah.
Yeah, and I'm trying to write my own stuff as well, and and you know what? It's a learning process, and you know what? Independent filmmakers just need that guy. You know, like what was his name again? The guy who did the guy who backed Star Wars.
Oh, Alan
George Lucas.
Legend. No, Alan Ladd Jr.
Yeah, Alan Ladd.
Yeah. Like in order to get that way, like with the Renaissance, you need a guy like that.
Basically, you need the equivalent of an entertainment mogul equivalent of Elon Musk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah.
That's what you need. Who's somebody who's got a lot of capital to throw around. That can allow people to have the budget to and the platform to create.
Yeah. And we are starving for something new and creative, something groundbreaking. We are like aching to see that and want to see that, you know, and we kind of hoped that it would be with Star Wars still, that we would have something new and groundbreaking in a sense. And it's just, we just got a rehash of A New Hope, and then remakes of like scenes from the other three or the other two trilogy or movies and stuff. And so that's why we feel so disengaged, I guess you can say, because we already seen that stuff.
Yeah. Yep.
And this is just that stuff again, just worse.
Mm-hmm.
And
unfortunately,
it's in the face of absolutely everything that we know.
Well, you can say that.
And if we disagree with it, we're called all sorts of nasty names.
Well,
so it's like, well, okay, why should we give you our business then? Because you're insulting us. How about no?
Yeah. Wholeheartedly, Annihilus, I wholeheartedly agree with you.
Yeah, it's not just about Star Wars either. You can say that about any reboot, reimagining. You get Charlie's Angels, Thundercats,
Star Trek.
I will say this to kind of play devil's advocate. I've grown up just about nearly entirely watching classic films, so I'm not exactly going to pass myself off as a film historian, but Hollywood has been doing remakes since its infancy. I've seen movies being remade within the same decade in the 30s, so that's really nothing new as far as what Hollywood does, because at its core it's a business. What I have a problem with is whenever they do these reboots or reimaginings purely as a way to take advantage of an already built-in fan base. To capitalize on that, and say, hey, we already have, like, say, for example, if they were to touch the Back to the Future trilogy, there is a hardcore fan base for that trilogy. That they would be trying to capitalize on, much like what they tried to do with Ghostbusters 2016, which failed epically. That's where I have issues with. It's whenever they try to use franchise as vehicles, as like purely for just financial reasons, without any love for whatever it is they are reimagining or remaking, and something should not be touched.
It's kind of how I felt about those Amazing Spider-Man movies by Mark Webb. Well, the first one wasn't bad, but the second one, no.
So I don't necessarily have an issue with remakes. It's when they I'm trying to think of like a word that whenever I would talk about this, but like basically just
cash grabs.
Cash grabs, yes, that's the word I was trying to. When they're blatant cash grabs is when I have issues with them. But at the same time, yes, I would like to see them at least try to come up with something new. I don't want to see another MCU film. I don't want to see like 2 or 3 MCU films a year. It just gets boring to me.
Yeah. And I can agree with that.
I kind of feel sorry for the actors in that, especially in the case of the MCU. It's like, holy shit, they got to be working massive amounts of overtime to get all this shit done.
Yeah, and you know what? Yeah, I kind of agree with Mara on this one. Like, it's like 2 or 3 MCU movies. Like, I watch so much MCU and I indulge in so much, and I'm kind of just tapped out on almost every superhero type thing. Like, I'm not even watching My Hero Academia because it's like, I'm just tapped out on superheroes.
Oh my God, there's fatigue and watching remaster remakes. Oh my God, who would have known?
Yeah.
Well, and here's the thing, and Mara and everything, trying to kind of track back on your comment. One of the most iconic movies ever made in Hollywood, The Ten Commandments by Cecil B. DeMille, was actually a remake of a silent version of the exact same story. But here's the thing: what Cecil B. DeMille did with that was so huge and so massive, and it has become an icon of cinema. And nobody's bothered by the fact that it's essentially, obviously it's based on Holy Scripture, and it's based on a silent film. And
like Ben-Hur is the same way. As long as it's not a cash grab and the movie's decent, I have no problem with it being a remake. Magnificent Seven, the original Magnificent Seven, is a remake of Seven Samurai.
Yeah.
It's an Americanized version.
The problem I have with some, at least today, at least in 30 years ago, if you remade a movie, you were kind of just in it for financial reasons. But right now, what it's looking like is that people get these properties like Star Wars and et cetera, and they're just trying to change everything they don't like about it. They're trying to force themselves to like it. So you got these self-insert main characters. You got self-inserts of their friends. Seriously, I'm not even joking here. She-Ra and the Princess of Power, they had this episode called Princess Prom, and the background characters looked exactly like the showrunner's friend. So they're trying to make it for them and not for the fan base, because at least with cash grabs, you're at least trying to go with a fan base. But for these guys, no, they're making it for them, and that's it.
All right.
Basically,
folks,
it's a way for the authors to live vicariously through these fictional characters.
Yep.
All right. And with that, folks, we are going to have to start wrapping it up. I do want to thank all of my panelists. And before we do go, I am going to let each and every one of you do a final plug for your channels. We'll start with Riot Kitty, since you came in late.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I'm Riot Kitty, and I have a YouTube channel where I make art, design videos, sometimes pop culture if I really feel like letting out my claws. And I'm also developing my own comic book, and also have a few other properties that I'd like to get off the ground. So if you'd like, you can sub to my channel and view it. It's a variety channel, and I hope you guys enjoy.
All right. Mara?
Hello, I am Mara Jade. Twitter, I'm OG Mara Jade. On YouTube, I go by Jade Shadow. What you see in the parentheses, I talk a lot of pop culture, sometimes social commentary, especially when celebrities or SJWs say or do something incredibly stupid. But I cover some Star Wars, got more into talking about DC recently because I became apathetic to Disney's Star Wars. But I love talking about the EU, OT, and PT storylines. And also, I'm going to be segueing at some point into streaming games on Twitch once I get everything figured out about how to stream directly through my PS4. So look for that in the near future to kind of add more variety to my both YouTube and Twitch channels.
OG?
Hi, everyone, and thank you guys for coming and participating in the chat and listening to us. And, in this little debate, well, I wouldn't call it a debate, but yeah, about Vaylin versus Rey. And you can find me on my channel, OG Star Wars. I'm your Legends girl, trying to make it in this discounted world. And I specialize in George Lucas era of Star Wars. That includes the movies, the EU, games, comics, what have you, and even some fan fiction lore. And you can find me on Twitter, and you can find me here again on YouTube. And usually Tuesdays I have my Tuesday lore that comes out, and then I do like to do fun facts and talk about some of the news and development in Star Wars in general. And also I do love my coffee chats as well. On Thursday mornings, 9 a.m. we discuss Star Wars, and we just geek out on that. And you can find me Monday nights on Toxic Femininity, once a month, and Thursday nights with the Queen's Council as well. So again, thank you for having me. I enjoyed myself. I enjoyed this debate and our discussion about Hollywood and movies in general, and about the EU as well. So thank you so much, Orange Hat, for having me here, and I look forward to the next one. You guys stay tuned. This is getting better. I love Orange Hat's idea about verses between the canons. So thank you again.
Very welcome. Ambassador?
Well, yeah. For those of you who don't know me, I am the Ambassador. I cover pop culture of the 80s and 90s into the modern era. I talk Star Wars. I talk Star Trek. A passion of mine is a little 90s show called Babylon 5 that I do a weekly review on.
Nice.
On Monday afternoon. Sometimes that day will change and everything, depending on my schedule. And this actually tomorrow night on my channel, I'm going to be stepping outside the 80s and 90s, and in honor of the anniversary of the D-Day invasion of Normandy, we're going to be talking about a great Hollywood classic when they made classics. We're going to be talking about The Longest Day, and that'll be at 7:30 Central Time. So.
And Annihilus.
Yes, first of all, thank you, Orange Hat, for bringing me on. I'm really liking these versus streams, and I hope to be part of more. You guys can find me on Twitter at Annihilus2, because Twitter is dumb like that, and my channel, Annihilus, where I stream games. I streamed Jedi Outcast. I am a Star Wars enthusiast, and I am currently streaming the Mass Effect trilogy. But tomorrow I'm going to be streaming something a little different, and it's going to be very special indeed.
All right. Well, everybody, if you need to find their links, they will be in the description of this video. So thank you all to the panelists for dropping in and discussing this. In 2 weeks, we have another Star Wars Versus, and it's going to be... And this is going to be strictly EU. It's going to be Darth Vader versus Darth Malgus from Old Republic.
This is going to be a tough one.
Yeah.
So if any of you guys want to go in on that one, let me know.
Hell yeah.
That's going to be a close one.
Yeah, it's a juicy one. Because we have the chosen one made by the Force versus. So this is going to be great.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty. And with that, folks, for anyone who catches this on the replay, y'all know the drill. Like, comment, subscribe, share, all that jazz. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below of any of the stuff that we have discussed. Who do you think would win between the Disney Mary Sue versus the badass of the EU? And with that, folks, let me know all your thoughts. And this has been Orange Hat Reviews. Stay humble.